Ahead of the August 16 by-election in Edo State, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the state has announced the release of the official timetable for the forthcoming by-elections into Edo Central Senatorial District, and the Ovia Federal Constituency as approved by the National Working Committee. This was contained in a communique signed by Edo PDP Caretaker Committee Secretary Henry Duke Tenebe at the end of a state working committee meeting and made available to newsmen in Benin. The secretary of the committee said the party has resolved to notify aspirants, party members, stakeholders, and the general public of the release and approval of the official timetable for the forthcoming by-elections. Tenebe, who sued for the cooperation of all party members and stakeholders, called on everyone to contribute to the peaceful and successful conduct of the exercise taking place at the PDP State Secretariat in Benin City. The PDP asked all intending aspirants to strictly adhere to the approved timetable and procedures, as well as comply fully with the provisions of the PDP electoral guidelines. Abdullah Ibrahim is the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). He joins us to share more light about how the PDP intends to reinvent itself in the face of its declining fortunes. Glad to have you join us on Arise News here. Join me.
Thank you, brother. Indeed.
Good. Welcome. Maybe I should start there. So, with all that is playing out, how do you intend to reinvent, reimage, or whatever you want to call it, the PDP?
Well, it's important to start by reminding us that PDP is today 27 years old. And that's about the longest political party in the history of this country, even if you started from the First Republic. Now, since independence, we've not had a political party that has lasted for 10 years. Probably the ruling party today, APC, might score that credit at the end of this year because it was formed in 2014. Now, for us, the PDP, over the period that we have lasted, and within the period specifically that we govern this country, 16 years to be precise, we brought hope into this country from a state of hopelessness and despair, which we took over in 1999. You will recall, as at the time we lost power in 2015, Nigeria was the third fastest growing economy in the world, only next to Qatar and China, and the fastest in Africa. And that tells you that there was prospect, there was hope, we were headed somewhere. We succeeded in debt cancellation. We secured debt cancellation for Nigeria. We were able to bring the hope, even to create the democratic ambience that we lost eventually after APC took over, in 2015. So if Nigerians are in tune with that reality, if Nigerians will remember that fact, there's nothing to despair here. There's always a period for reflection in a journey. And PDP has lost power over this last 1 decade. We have reflected what we did wrong and why Nigerians decided to punish us in 2015. But soon after that, you will recall in 2014, the hope was rekindled when they saw the atrocious 4 years of Muhammadu Buhari, the predecessor to Bola Tinubu. And it was repeated in 2023 with our then Vice President Atiku Abubakar as candidate. And they said we lost that election, which we disputed and pursued until we got to the Supreme Court. But you and I know what facts are there and what played out, to rob us of that victory. So really speaking, we ran into the murky waters that were avoidable, to be very honest with you, and we expected some of us in-house to have done things differently. They didn't do. And we are being punished for that fact. And some of these elements today that are shouting that they are moving to go and form ADC or whatever they call it, were responsible for the predicament in-house. But posterity is there to judge because we shouted. I was one of those and many others who came and said, no, we were getting it wrong. We shouldn't have lost Peter Obi for all the reasons on earth. We shouldn't have lost Kwankwaso in Kano. We should not also have lost the 5 governors led by Nyesom Wike at that time and still tell Nigerians that we wanted to win that election. So it appeared we were not serious, and our then presidential candidate did not appear as committed and passionate about winning that election as some of us, foresaw. And so that opening, that lacuna that we decided to create in-house, contributed significantly in the loss of power in 2023. And we are being punished for it. So if anybody comes around to tell you now that the leadership is responsible for the predicament, or we have not provided inspirational leadership to be able to steer confidence in the members. And that's why a few elements are leaving. That's false. That's a lie from the pit of hell. They were not doing what they ought to have done. One of the few persons that we expected should have played, the leadership role to inspire us towards winning that election was Atiku Abubakar. And if he comes now to tell you that he's losing confidence in PDP, by the way, he's saying that he has not left PDP, but he's going to form ADC, and shamelessly inviting some of us with 10 governors that are committed and passionately doing the bit that they are doing in their state. They have stood out so far in the last, dispensation. They have proven that they are truly people of conscience, and they are holding mandate of the country. So you have seen the denial by the Osun State governor that that's a lie from the pit of hell. PDP is determined, PDP is on course, and we are doing all that we will do within the powers available to us and within the confines of civility to be able to provide leadership yet again for Nigerians.
Someone said that you're as good as your last performance. I'm sure you agree with that. So when you recount all that PDP did, it is what you're doing now that counts and that matters. And now, as it is, like you have accepted, PDP is in quotes, like it's in shambles. Your governors are defecting, fine. Adeleke says it's not. PDP is warning members against defection. But 2 governors have defected already, along with some NAS members, to the APC, warning people not to defect. Is that the way to go? And what are you doing about those who have defected if you're warning others not to defect?
First of all, you would recall that those of them who left, the 2 in particular, did not succeed in going along with their cabinet, even with the threat and the subterfuge that they deployed in ensuring that their followers go with them.
Delta
in Akwa Ibom particularly, half of the cabinet declined and they refused to go with him. Some of them even resigned outrightly.
One, not. I think most of them have gone with him.
Well,
the same in Delta.
It is not even the leadership that is supposed to be concerned. We are not perturbed if the leaders who enjoyed people's mandate have decided to betray the same platform that they came through. The followership is there waiting. And in 2027, barely less than 2 years from here, we will go to the polls and then we will speak. And when we return here, I would remind you what I'm saying tonight, that look, a commander can decide to go, but leaving his full soldiers behind. He's as empty as no one. Let them go to that strange bedfellows, an assembly called APC, and they will soon realize, like we are already seeing in Delta State.
What is PDP's stand on coalition?
It's a body that is dead on arrival. We are not bothered about it. We are not concerned. We have not lost one sleep about ADC. We have not, just like the Senate president will say, whether an airline, a defunct airline, we are not even, whether ADC or delay, that is usually accompanying, a VIP. It is non-important. No, PDP has not lost any sleep because the members are meeting. We have met only a week ago, to review our mistakes and to get that particular problem, which has, culminated into deepening our woes. That is to do with the secretary of the party, and we've been able to resolve that going forward. In about 2-3 weeks from now, we will be having our NEC. That NEC will give birth to the electoral committee that will bring us into a new convention. And by the time the convention is successful and we have newly elected set of leaders in place, I think we will inspire confidence again from Nigerians, and that would demonstrate our willingness to be able to salvage Nigeria from this despair and despondency, which seem to have been the order in the land.
Who, I don't know, is Wike in the PDP or in the APC?
He has not denounced his membership of the PDP the last time I checked, so he's still a member of the PDP. Okay,
so Wike says, I asked that question because of what I want to ask. Wike said the PDP is the only party that can give APC a run for its money come 2027, but with a caveat. He says, if PDP is able to organize themselves.
He couldn't have been right. Nothing is better than that. That's correct and that is sincere. PDP is the only political party. Don't forget, political contestation comes with history. Muhammadu Buhari contested 3 times in a strange political party, and he lost it. The 4th time he went on coalition, which is a different alliance rather, which is different from what these people are touting coalition. You are not bringing anything on the table. You are just few elements that are, aggrieved.
Are you not running faster than your show?
No.
They just were. It was just 3 days ago, 4 days ago. So, I mean, it's not early in the day to say they're not bringing anything to the table.
What are they bringing? No, you see, from the inception, from the takeoff is where a journey will go far. in the 2014 alliance, which I talked about, ACN was there, led by this current president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They emptied the entire party on a table. The CPC, which was led by Muhammadu Buhari then, also came on the table with the entire paraphernalia of the party. And then the ANPP itself came up with the entire behemoth called ANPP. And then the few elements from PDP, led by this same Atiku Abubakar and 5 governors, came there and galvanized, the movement and gave it the desired support for them to win election. It's a different ballgame from what we have today. Few elements who have contributed in the problem of the PDP, who are so blinded by their ego and ambition, I must run for president. And they have realized that, for him in particular, Atiku Abubakar, who has enjoyed twice.
Are you also including David Mark in the people you're mentioning?
No, but David Mark is not aspiring for president, and I bet you.
No, because you said those who have gone, because David Mark says he's no longer with PDP. Atiku has not come out particularly to say he's no longer the PDP.
That is why David Mark is more honorable, because he has tendered his resignation from his ward, and we have seen it, and that is what is expected of an honorable gentleman. I am denouncing my membership with you. I have drawn a line. You can then see the credibility and sincerity in that kind of a person. But the sort of fellow that will tell you that I am still with this party, the same party you so derided, but I am going to start another movement. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. That is a height of hypocrisy. It's the treacherous nature of this sort of people, and that's where they are going. And we are not losing sleep over them. The same ambition that they are driving, it will collide with the same party called coalition. I mean, a movement called coalition. So
you're talking about Atiku.
Yes, I'm talking about Atiku Abubakar. Yes, because
that is your stalwarts is in the APC government. He has also not denounced his membership, yes, but he has categorically said, I'm going to work for an APC government for the incumbent to win election in 2027.
Yeah, that is a sin, which we have admitted. I'm one of the persons who said that he did a wrong thing to say so. But he's entitled to his opinion. And then we have set a committee to investigate all of these atrocious tendencies, and led by no less a person, former chairman of the party, Tom Ikimi, an elder statesman, who is chairing the committee for discipline. And then he will call all of those persons in the fullness of time, and then they will face that committee.
So if people find him guilty, will you discipline Wike? Because he's taking more than...
certainly. He's one person that cannot be bigger than the party. He knows he's a fellow. A political party is supposed to be bigger than all of its members put together. So we have that in the fullness of time. It's a bridge we'll cross.
So because it's taking the party this long to even... Now, listen to what Debo Ologunagba says. It says that the party has not taken an official position on joining the coalition. Fine, but Olobondinyo says if some can stay in the party and work for the ruling party, then they also can stay in PDP and work for the coalition.
But that is to tell you that these people all along were not fighting objectively. They were blinded by, concerns that's narrow to them. They are the only ones that will understand what they mean by this. But it is clear that their objectivity has been lost from the word go. And we knew all along. We knew that these people were not fighting a just cause. Repeating a wrong does not clear you from being wrong yourself. So if you are saying that what Nyesom Wike has done was wrong, but you yourself have decided to do the same, then all of you are in the same pack. And then none of you should have any justification going forward.
Okay, before I let you go, I have asked about your position concerning the coalition, but going forward, are you people intending to join the coalition?
No. I say this with capital N and O. No, PDP will remain as a political party. I don't see why you will expect a party with 10 governors, proud governors that have stood out so far in the pack, and then a party that has governed Nigeria for 16 years, bringing it to the best of its period throughout history, now going to join a mushroom organization. I mean, that's not a dream that the PDP would do. It's too big for that kind of narrow-mindedness.
You're calling ADC a mushroom. Well, I'm sure some people called APC the same name before they took power.
But I told you how APC was formed. It was a solid organization and it was capable of doing so. But this is not the case.
All right. All right. So we watch and see how the wind blows. Abdullahi Ibrahim, Deputy National Public Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure always, Indy. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.